To you live from South Africa.
The time is just gone 8:34 a.m. as we continue with news and views this morning. And we are now changing focus to Pakistan to look at the Hazara Shias. Now, we've seen last week the Hazaras ending a protest and agreeing to bury the bodies of 11 coal miners from their community who, according to reports, and we need to verify that, in terms of killed by ISIS, the Islamic State. And this is actually, it prompted the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, to visit the mourners in the region. And he also promised compensation to them for their dead. And to understand what the issues are with regard to the Hazara Shias and this conflict that is taking place, we join on the line by Rahimullah Yusufzai, who is a political analyst and a journalist joining us out of Pakistan this morning. Brother Rahimullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you.
Yes, let's just try and understand this conflict that is taking place between the Hazara Shias and what is termed as Sunni Muslims, but we're not too sure whether this is a conflict or whether the Hazara Shias are being targeted, according to some reports, saying that they are frequently targeted by the Taliban and the Islamic State militants and other Sunni Muslim militant groups in not only in Pakistan, but also in Afghanistan.
You know, this is not really a conflict between Shias and Sunnis. You can say it is a conflict between extremists, on both sides. There are a few Sunni militant groups like Lashkar-e-Jangvi, Al-Alami, which is a breakaway faction of Lashkar-e-Jangvi, Sipahi Sahaba. These armed groups are anti-Shia, and they have been attacking these Shias, especially the Hazara Shias, who are vulnerable, who have distinctive features, Mongol features, and they are easily identifiable, and they live mostly in Quetta, the capital of Balochistan province. There are about 500,000 Hazara Shias in Pakistan. There's an organization called Sipahi Muhammad, which is Shia militant group, and this has been attacking Sunni religious scholars. So this is a limited conflict, but it has a large impact on Pakistan. Whenever these Hazara Shias are killed in Quetta and Balochistan, then the Shias elsewhere in Pakistan also start holding protests. And after every killing, the Shia Hazaras, don't bury the people who have been killed. They put their bodies on the roadside and they start protesting. And then, the Prime Minister or somebody else goes there, gives them assurances, compensation, and people, then a crackdown is launched against these, the attackers. This is what happened recently. 10 Hazara Shia coal miners were killed in much area in Balochistan. 3 of them were Pakistani Hazara Shias, and the 7 others were from Afghanistan. Afghan Shia Hazaras, they had come from the province called Kundi to work here, and they were also killed. But these Hazaras Shia from Afghanistan, they have been coming to Pakistan, getting the ID cards and passports, living here, because there is a lot of poverty in Afghanistan. Pakistan is better off. So, we have this issue also of illegal Afghans who come here, not only these Hazara Shias, but also other Afghans, they come to Pakistan. We still have 2.7 million Afghan refugees in Pakistan. So this time it was really tragic. 10 people, they were identified, they were sleeping near the coal mines in a mud house, and they were then killed, and their throats were cut. And this claim was made, as you mentioned, by the Islamic State or Daesh. And Daesh actually has been claiming responsibility for almost all the attacks against Shias in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. It is basically, as you know, it is very anti-Shia. And it has also local allies and facilitators, like I mentioned, Lashkar-e-Jhangvi. So they join hands. Attacks are carried out by these Pakistani groups like Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, but the claim is made by ISIS. And this is how this issue, is still lingering on. The Prime Minister went there finally after 1 week, after the bodies were buried. He was criticized for not going earlier, but he put a condition that you have to bury the bodies and then I will come. He went there, he made some promises, let's see how it goes. But these attacks have continued for the last almost 20 years.
Yes. Now, it does appear that this is obviously not stopping it, as you mentioned in your last statement, going on for 20 years. And the key issue here is, apart from just the belief system, could there be any other agendas playing out, Rahimullah, with regards to this conflict?
This is an act of terrorism. So the terrorists, they want to create chaos. They want to show their presence. They also want to show that the government is very weak. The military is weak. They can't really stop us. The Prime Minister made a claim when he was in Quetta, when he was offering his condolences to the families of the slain coal miners. He said there are only about 35 to 40 militant fighters with the group which claimed responsibility in Pakistan. So we don't know if that is true. There are only 35 to 40 people, and how come they are keeping the government hostage and launching attacks, at the place and time of their choosing? But I think there must be more. Some of them have escaped to Afghanistan. Some are still here hiding and biding their time and launching attacks. So I think it's a security lapse. The government looks very helpless. And, these Hazara Shias, 500,000 who live in Quetta, they live in two areas, two localities in Quetta. One is called Hazara Town, other is called Mariabad. These two areas have been barricaded. They have been provided extra security. You can't enter their localities without passing through some gate, some checkpoint. But even then, they have to come out to earn their livelihood. Some of them go to Iran for ziyarat, for pilgrimage, and then, on the way, their buses get attacked. They are also doing, and most of them, are also very poor, so they work in the coal mines. And this is where they are attacked, on the way to their work or when they go to Iran or come back. Now, security is provided to these buses which take them to Iran, but even then, they are attacked because the militants, they come in large numbers. So they must be hiding somewhere. They have local support. They are facilitated by their allies. And somehow the intelligence agencies and the security forces and the police have been unable to stop these attacks.
Yes. Now, also, Rahimullah, just looking at the Pakistan government, and as you mentioned, at this point in time, the Pakistan government not in a position to do anything about this. And we know that there are certain areas in Pakistan which we know due to tribal customs and a strong tribal ethos and a strong tribal presence where they are basically a law unto themselves, and where it actually makes it difficult for Pakistan, for law enforcement agencies to even get into some of these areas. Would this be the case in the case of the area, the Quetta area that you speak about, where the Hazara Shias are based?
Quetta is a city and it's an urban area, The Hazaras also are urbanized. There are tribal people living in Quetta, also Pashtun and Baloch, and they have their own issues. Baloch, some groups are fighting for independence in Pakistan. They also launch attacks. Then we have also, other issues in that part. Some people, are Pashtun nationalists, and they get support from the intelligence agencies of Afghanistan and India. The Prime Minister, when he was in Quetta, he blamed India for sponsoring these kind of attacks. Now, it may be true because Pakistan has provided some evidence regarding the Indian involvement and using Afghanistan as a staging point to launch attacks in Pakistan by using Pakistani militants, both from the TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and from Daesh and from the Baloch separatist groups. But this is the primary responsibility of any government. It has to protect its citizens, and that is not happening in Pakistan. But I say that, we have a tribal society in certain areas of Pakistan, but I think now there is more education, there is more employment, and the economy is, not very well, but it is still okay. So I think that it is because of many factors. One was the U.S., invasion of Afghanistan, which radicalized many people. Other was the American interference in Pakistan. Iran and Saudi Arabia were fighting a proxy war in Pakistan. Saudi supporting the Sunni extremists and Iran supporting the Shia extremists. Then the political instability. All these issues have combined to make Pakistan, insecure in certain areas. But I think that, there is no larger Shia-Sunni conflict in Pakistan. The big majority of Sunnis and Shia, they want to live in peace. There are no issues. But we have extremists among us who carry out these attacks, and they can easily escape to Afghanistan. The Afghan conflict for the last 42 years, that is one issue why there is a proliferation of arms and drugs and militancy and radicalism in Pakistan.
Yes, a very, very interesting analysis, I must say, Rahimullah, coming through. And as you mentioned, it's about extremists, but there are other factors. You mentioned the proxy wars, some of the global political dynamics playing out, the geopolitical dynamics, India, for instance, against Pakistan. So there is definitely more there to it that meets the eye with regard to this particular incident or these incidents that are taking place in the Quetta region. But as always, we say Jazakallah to you. We thank you for your time with us here on Salam Media, on News and Views. And we wish you all the best, inshallah. Please stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam. Inayat Waji sahab, thank you very much. Thank you.
Rahimullah Yusufzai joining us out of Pakistan this morning. We come back and we're going to be taking a look at home-based care in South Africa. Now, there is an operation undergo with regard to providing oxygen. And we see many communities, we see many organizations who are now starting to focus on home-based care in this era of this pandemic that we are in. And we've heard very, very often with regard to hospitals. Many are saying that hospitals at this point in time, no-go areas. And this is the reason why home-based care, particularly for people who are tested positive for COVID, who are feeling the effects of being COVID positive, and this is the reason why they need this type of care. So when we come back after the break, we will be joined by one of the representatives from Human Aid SA, Ahmed Osman.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal